If you have an anxious attachment style, your ex is probably an avoidant. And depending on how many videos you've listened to about avoidance, you may be thinking you'll never get your ex back. But I'm here to tell you that's just not true. You do have a chance to get your avoidant ex back, so stay tuned. But first, I'd like to welcome back my beautiful no contact army. Have you downloaded my app Silencio? If you haven't, the link is underneath every single video and podcast, and it will help you to stay in no contact. And if you too would like to join my beautiful no contact army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before you purchase the book. So in case this is your first time hearing about attachment styles, the one thing you need to know is that anything other than a secure attachment is insecure, and there's a core wound. So dismissive avoidance, fear a loss of independence; anxiously attached, fear abandonment; and fearful avoidant is actually the worst because it's a combination of both. So they fear a loss of independence and they also fear abandonment. So you can see how a relationship between an avoidant and an anxious can lead to problems, since they want totally opposite things, which then leads to breakups, usually with the avoidant being the dumper. So why the heck would they come back if they value independence so much, right? Well, several reasons. One, they didn't really have a good reason for leaving in the first place. So they were triggered by some minor issue and just wanted to get away from you. So if you do no contact and leave them alone, they will eventually deactivate, as it's called, and reach out to you. They thought they had a good reason at the time, but once they get that distance, they realize, it wasn't that big a deal, and they will want to reconnect. Or sometimes it's because their feelings for you will start to scare them, and so they pull away. It's like they're thinking that there's a boogeyman in the room, and they run out, but then they see there's no boogeyman chasing them, and so they cautiously walk back and see there's no boogeyman there, and they feel safe to go back in. But in order for an avoidant ex to feel safe coming back in, you cannot chase them when they run out of the room, so to speak. That's why no contact is especially effective with an avoidant, which leads to our next reason. The mistake people with an anxious attachment style make is that they do everything to try to get the avoidant back, when instead they should actually be doing nothing. But because of their core wound, fear of abandonment, they have a hard time doing no contact. They panic and think they can't live without the avoidant, and they have to get them back at all costs. And a partner acting like that is a total turnoff for an avoidant. They just want to get away from you. Avoidants don't have a core wound of abandonment. They were not abandoned in childhood. Therefore, they have absolutely no problem with no contact. And during no contact, an anxious person is often flooded with positive memories and regret and wants to reach out as a result. And this will often be met with hostility because the avoidant is able to shut off positive memories, focus only on the worst part of their partner, and it then leads to a disastrous dynamic. However, with sufficient time apart, avoidants start to shift their negative thoughts to more positive ones as long as they are left alone. So stop reaching out and breaking no contact. That's why my Silencio app has a panic button on there. So if you're triggered and want to break no contact, you press the panic button and you'll hear my voice giving you many, many reasons as to why that's a very bad idea. And the link to that, as I mentioned earlier, is underneath every single video and podcast. So avoidants need time to start thinking about the positive memories and not just the negative ones. So give them the space to fantasize about you. So by staying in no contact, they feel safe and independent because of the space that you've given them. And make sure you give them lots of space. If you try too hard to reconnect, you will push them away. That's why you need to be working on your own attachment style in the meantime and stop worrying about if and when they're going to reach out. And you can only do that when you have a more secure attachment style. Give them the space to be alone with their thoughts. This is the only way that they can start to feel their repressed feelings of attachment. No one's putting pressure on them, so they're able to deactivate. And that's why I'm always begging you guys to please stay in no contact and leave your exes alone. And this is why you will actually get rejected again if you don't listen to me and break no contact. Breaking no contact is just going to make them put up walls. You're already someone they feel they need to get away from. But if you stay in no contact, any walls they had put up will now come down, and they will not put up any new walls. Now, it can take up to 3 months for an avoidant to be in their feelings more than their fears and to reach out. Let them set the pace for coming back. Don't try to jump back in or try to speed things up because of your anxiety. Remember, you're supposed to be working on your attachment style in no contact, right? And then one more reason why no contact will work on an avoidant is because their longing for you will intensify when they fail to establish a bond with new partners, or they realize it's going to be hard to replace you. They start to miss you, they get into their feelings, and they eventually reach out, okay? So to recap as to why avoidants almost always come back, one is because they were triggered by something small and they realized there was no boogeyman chasing them. Two, because you've left them alone, you've done no contact, they deactivated, got into their feelings, and realized they want you back. And three, they saw that they're not able to connect with anyone else or find anyone better. So now I want to hear from you. How long have you been in no contact? And how is it going? And if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net and we will send you the rates. They are not listed, and the direct link to that is underneath every single video and podcast, or just scan the QR code on YouTube on the video. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast, please rate and review. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.